like every other week I was changing what I wanted to do. And so when I went to Seattle Pacific, I really spent my freshman year dabbling in everything, in terms of just testing out every different type of class, every things I didn't even know if I'd be interested in, or even just talking to students that were just doing different things. Really just trying to get, a feel of different areas of study. And I think halfway through that year, and after many meetings with a guidance counselor, of constantly switching my major, I really kind of settled on, I think I had a moment to myself because I realized how quickly freshman year was going by. And I was one of those kids that was really excited to get to college. I was like, yes, I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna be out the house, like just looking forward to it. But I think when I saw how quickly it was flying by, I realized that I needed to really figure out what direction I wanted to take. And I think my own personal motto was, I want to leave college having a skill that I did not come here with. And I was just always interested in art and creativity, things like that. So I chose to explore all the art majors, and a lot of them, like, I knew I wasn't a studio artist. I knew I didn't know how to draw any of that stuff, but I think visual communications aligned the best with me. And so that's really kind of my journey of finding a major. But in terms of the adjustment, I think I had the exact opposite experience in terms of being really catered to and looked after, which I didn't think that I needed. But looking back, I definitely don't know how I would have done it any other way, just because where I was at that age and just that time of, just me really trying to figure it out. So I liked the attention, and they weren't too annoying about it, but it was just nice to have people constantly checking in with you, or making sure that you're staying on course and really helping you create a plan, and again, helping you stick to it. Because I think when you do switch your major a lot, or you're just trying to, again, figure out what you want to do, you also want to have guidance on how long is it going to take you if you make this choice versus this, or do you want to stay an extra year, which I did not. I graduated in 4 years as well. So I took a lot of summer courses, because I had such a huge major. I took a lot of, like, just anytime we were on break, I was still taking classes, because I knew the goal was to graduate with very little student loans, but also just in 4 years. And so it was really beneficial, although I thought I would not like going to a small school. I wanted to go to much larger schools. But yeah, it really helped me in retrospect. And teachers even now still check in on me, and I'm like, okay, it's been a while, it's fine now. But it's nice just to have that community that cared and also just had your best interest. And I will say some of the perks too that I learned of going to a tighter community is that I really overutilized the Career Center. And I think I was just one of those really go-getter, ambitious students, because I always had a new internship every other quarter. Like, I was just hustling. But a small school really was able to help me land a lot of those things. Like, they were just able to give me the attention to help me reach a lot of the goals, or even just explore things that I wanted to. And I think even to this day, the career guy knows my name, because I was like, well, this week I want to study film. Who can I intern with? So it was nice, again, to have that attention. But so I would say, just being open to something that you might not think you want right now, but really being true to what kind of student you are, as Asha was saying, and how you've worked during high school, because there's not like a good or a bad. It's just figuring out what school is actually going to help you succeed. Because like Asha, a lot of my friends that they didn't go to my school, but just in general, they went to larger schools, dropped out, or had to stop out after the first year, even during the first year. And it is sad, because you see a lot of just the stress around credits, or, taking like these 6-year plans, or even just getting stuck with student loans when you didn't get anything out of that money that you now owe. So yeah, it's just really about being conscious about the type of student that you are, and just making sure you cater your college experience to that.
A wonderful, wonderful answer. Uh, Sanisha, just really super quick on the adjustment from
Yes.
high school to college. Make it super quick. I'm going to go to Rashad. I'm going to come back to you about your experience as a social worker, et cetera. We'll talk about that. I won't go into
Okay.
detail, I promise. But could
Okay.
you comment on that interface of high school
Um, with the transition,
adjustment?
okay. The adjustment, it was I guess like every other high school student entering college, just want to get out the house. I come from a very huge family. It's four of us, so I'm the second oldest. So it was my brother that went off to college, then it was me, but I was just ready to leave. Like, I'm ready to go. And then when I got there, I was like, nobody's going to wake me up. Nobody's going to fix me breakfast. So I kind of miss my mom, but then I just learned to adjust. Never take a math class at 8 a.m. That's what I did. And yeah, it was just ridiculous. But I think I learned to just, I guess I learned to be vulnerable because I didn't want to go in there like, I knew it all. I was literally the new kid on the block, like every other freshman. So I would go to my professors if I needed help with, math or English, because I always wanted to challenge myself and be better. So I think I went to a Cal State, so I can't speak for the UC experience. I know I've had friends that went to UCs, and they call them research schools. But Cal State, it was one of the best decisions I've made because it was such a small impacted campus and everyone knew everybody. There was always help. I think, like I said, I would go to my professors. I met one lady in particular. She was the one that helped me determine that I wanted to become a social worker, because my major at the beginning was pre-med. Yeah, and you know how your parents brag about you, my baby pre-med, that my baby. Yeah, I took chemistry and pre-calculus, and it just wasn't, didn't work out. It didn't work out for me. So Deacon, I cried to Deacon, like, my mom is, really egging me on. And, Grey's Anatomy came out when I was 14. So I'm just like, I want to be that type of doctor. And then my dad was like, yeah, you can do it. And I was just like, I can't do it. And he's like, this is your decision. You make the best of it. If you don't want to become a doctor, you don't. It doesn't mean you can't, help others. So that's when I switched to psychology. So my major was psychology. I could have finished a minor in social work, sociology, but I wanted to graduate and finish. But I knew I was going to get my master's in social work. So one of the teachers, she helped me. She helped me with my applications for my master's program.
Well,
she
wait.
helped me to.
I want to ask you about that separately. There's something I want to put.
Okay. Okay.
You're gonna skip.
Okay.
I don't want you to skip. So,
okay, you want me to skip? Okay.
Now, Rashad, you're really of great interest to me these days for a lot of reasons. And one of the reasons I have you here is to show the pathway we go through to our careers and how dreams and passions relate. Right. But how did you hear about that program you got into? Because you're the one that told me about the program at the school you went to do the grip work you're doing now. Could you quickly comment on that? Then I want to ask you something else about it.
Well, I heard that program from a buddy of mine. His name is Devon Usher. We went to grade school together at this school called New Life Academy. It was way back in the day, but we went there and we just built a friendship until now. We're still tight. But he actually went through the program back in 2015 or 16. Okay. And he was telling me about it. And this is coming from a guy, like I said, my boy, Devon is one of the funniest people I know by far. And this is the type of guy that he's literally quit every single job he's had on the job. So when he told me this was legit, he enjoyed it. You're going to make a lot of money. It's fun, Rashad. You get to travel, do certain things. I took him serious because this is a guy, like I said, he continues to be in and out of jobs, but it stuck. And he's very successful at being a grip in the movie industry. Told me about the program. I went through the program. I went through the accelerated part. First, it used to be 2 years. It used to be 2 years to where now it's an accelerated program, and they have it for about a year, maybe a year and a half. It's a lot of sacrifice that goes into that program, just like anything else you do in life. There's sacrifices you have to make to get where you got to go. And in this program, I was working at UPS as a supervisor. Once I moved back from leaving the correctional facility, the academy, I moved back to LA and I got a job becoming a supervisor at UPS part-time, and I was going to school part-time with this program at West LA College. And she kind of pulled me aside midway through the program, and she's like, you're gonna have to quit your job. And I'm like, really? She was like, yeah, because you have to dedicate yourself in complete 642 hours on set. And this is stuff you have to find. They help you here and there, but you literally have to find your jobs, whether it's paid or not paid. And there was many days where I was working for free, trying to get these hours done. Luckily, crazy how this works. God works in mysterious ways. I got fired from the UPS job, so I was collecting unemployment. So, which was a blessing at the same time, because
Yeah,
it was a blessing.
awesome.
It was a blessing in disguise, because I got to work, complete my hours, still have money enough to pay for my bills, and I was working for Lyft on the side. I was driving Lyft, which is Lyft and Uber, huge. I'm so thankful for those outlets to make money. And I was working Lyft and going to work on set for free. I was doing a lot of student films to get hours, and I
Getting
finally
experience too. You get
right
experience.
to get the experience, and I
That's
finally started getting paid for my gigs. I started booking certain independent indie films and stuff like that, to where I was making 200 a day finally. In the non-union world, making $200 a day, and that was huge for me, because that was a huge accomplishment for me, because I went from making nothing, nothing to making 200 a day. And I finally completed the hours, and we had to turn in a portfolio. We have to document every single hour we're on set. We have to document it, and then we submit this portfolio to the head of the arts and crafts in the movie department at West LA. We submit that to her. She submits it to the union, and then we take a test. And then once we take a test at whatever union we're applying for, you pass the test, then you get in. And through this program, they waive your initiation fees. And
right.
these initiation fees are for my union, which is Local 80 GRIPS. That union's initiation fees are $5,000. So they waive that for us because we go through this program. We still have to pay our union dues every 3 months, which is roughly around $252 an hour. I mean, $252 every 3 months. But $252 is nothing when you're making 45 an hour on set, and you're working 12 to 14-hour days. So you could save $252 every 3 months. So
Hey, Rashad, hold on one second. We get ready to lose Asha, and I want to get back to you about being on some other issues with that. But it's amazing that how you found that at West LA. Talk to your friend. It's amazing, and you'd already had the maturity and growth from college, but then you did that. It was amazing to me. Asia, I just want to say one thing. You're an entrepreneur. What does it feel like not to have a boss before you go?
It feels amazing. No, but it's a double-edged sword, like, in all honesty, because I did have a boss at some point when I was trying out different things, and I can say there's a lot less you have to worry about with the boss. I mean, depending on your situation, but although I do enjoy the freedom, I knew I just could not have a boss. And it wasn't for just the sake of having one. It's just that I was so distracted by what I really wanted to do and like the passion I wanted to have in my work. And maybe that's the creative side of me. But I would say being your own boss obviously has its perks. You can travel whenever you want to. You can set your own schedule, hours. All of those things are amazing. But I will say it took me such an adjustment to figure out even how to do business taxes and then how to even hire for certain things. Right. So there's a whole other component to obviously being an entrepreneur besides just doing the fun stuff or the work that you essentially want to do. So I always tell people who, have that entrepreneurial thing that they want to do, it's definitely, you know, go for it, but also like do it smartly. Like I always tell people, do it on the side while you still have the safety of your job, just to see if you really want to take that on. But even, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't even picture myself going back to it, but it did take years. It's not like a story like, oh, just out of nowhere. Like you
Right.
know, you hear those one hit wonder stories, but yeah, I would say it's amazing, but you also are taking on a lot more things. And I think the biggest thing, if you are going to be your own boss, is to have a network of other entrepreneurs to lean on, ask for advice, figure out even how to price things. Because I have to tell a lot of designers, like, you're charging too low and you're making us all look bad. Like, don't charge too low. So I feel like there's a lot that you just have to learn, besides the main thing that you think you want to do. But yeah, I honestly love it though, but it is hard.
Well, thank you so very much. I know you have probably some business to do now even. But we're very thankful as a church for having you, and you're very creative. And I appreciate you being here, okay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you much. Hey, Rashad. Thanks a lot for coming. Hey, Rashad, what, come on, tell us, what's your next big dream?
Oh, the next big dream is
Make
sports
it short,
media.
make it short though, you know.
Well, yeah, just short and sweet. Sports media. I want
Right back to where you started.
Yes, I want to be an analyst. The goal is Fox Sports, ESPN, CBS Sports, I don't care. Like anywhere, any and everywhere. But
Let me hear your
that's
podcast.
yeah, huh?
Why don't you let me hear your podcast, bro?
Well, the podcast
Okay,
work.
I need that long. Okay.
Yeah, well, the podcast work is it's called It's Bro Time. That's my podcast I
I
have
know.
out.
I heard about it.
And and we're on all platforms, so please go subscribe and check that out. But yeah, the ultimate goal is sports media, sports analyst. That's definitely what I'm on track to.
Yeah, I want y'all to notice here that he's getting back to his passion, but he's already figured out how to feed himself. That's sometimes when we make the mistake. We confuse is a passion he knows he can do something with. He'll get back to it once he's settled. And don't confuse your passion, young folks, with what you're supposed to start making money with. It may be two different issues. I've noticed that over the 20 years I've worked with students. That's another reason I have them here, for that reason.
And Deacon, not to cut you off, it takes time though
Yes.
too to figure that out. It takes time because when you're fresh out of college, a lot of the times certain jobs you think you deserve, you might not get. Honestly, you gotta go find a job and try to put food on the table. So that comes with experience, and it comes with a lot of trials and tribulations sometimes. Not everybody is just, not everybody once they graduate walks into a great job. It takes time for that. So for me, it took a lot of trials and tribulations to get to where I am now and where I'm headed. So just to add that on there.
So Asha, what's in the future? What do you see?
Well, I love my job right now. It's law for me is becoming more of a hobby, I guess.
Nice.
My husband is starting his own wealth management firm. And so somehow I've gotten wrapped into being his lawyer. I don't know.
Right.
Yes, wife, manager, lawyer, I don't know. But so for me, I guess it's I enjoy law. It's a passion for me. Probate I really love, especially like in the Black community. There are like nobody does estate planning and they think a will is a will, and it's like, oh, it will all be taken care of, not realizing you don't want a will. What you need is a trust. A will is a very big problem. It's very antiquated and serves no purpose essentially.
Yeah, that's true. I have a trust.
I mean, I do a will it's known as a pour over will, just in case. But my goal is to always put people in their trust. Not that I actually draft them. Sometimes I will. But yes, so I guess I'm gonna kind of be doing a mix of drafting for like my husband's clients, and just kind of, I guess, supporting him. And just still doing law. I will remain with my firm. It's very flexible. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have pretty much every job that I really wanted. I've been this firm off and on for quite some time, just depends on the way the wind blows for me. And so, yeah, I guess that's kind of where I am.
All
Yeah.
right. And one last question for Sanisha. And remember, any questions you guys put in the Q&A. Now we'll go to Ronald Roberts is here. I'm excited, but I want to finish with these panelists. And if you have any questions, we're moving on in a minute. Just make sure you put them in the Q&A. We'll get as many as we can before we talk to Brother Ronald. Sanisha, what's the future, and give some advice. And try to keep it short so I can get to everybody one more time. Go ahead.
Okay. What's for my future? That's what you're asking?
Your future advice for these students. It's a very brief advice.
Oh, okay. So, well, my future, I would like to become a clinical social worker.
That's right.
So possibly therapy. But still thinking about it. And I think my passion, I love to work with people. I think it's chill. I love kids, but I feel like I get too attached to them. So probably not that route, maybe adults more so. So that's my passion, and possibly one day become a motivational speaker, and put out some self-help books. So I think that's what I really want to do as well. And then my advice for the students is to follow your dream, follow your passion. You are in control of your destiny. Yes, you want to make your parents proud, but you also want to be proud of yourself, and you also want to achieve your goals, because they're there to guide you. But again, they can't live through you. You have to live your own life and be the person that you want to be. And they'll accept it. And if they don't, you still love them, because they'll learn to accept it. So I think that's my advice to them, to follow your dream. Like I said, I was pre-med and I went 360-degree turn to social work. I'm still helping people, but just, not pre-med. I'm not a doctor. So, but that's okay. I'm okay with that decision. One of the best decisions I've made, because I really love social work and I love helping others. And it's always been a passion of mine. I just didn't know. So yeah, that is my dream. And I know all of you all will be successful in the future, because of course you have Deacon. You guys have wonderful parents that allowed you to be in this program.
Wow. Okay. And Rashad, advice to these young students. Again, some of them are 12th graders. Some of them are in college their first year.
Right.
And you being the most experienced veteran year, I think you should offer some advice. What do you think?
Oh yeah. The biggest thing I would say, a few things, but keep it short and sweet. Never let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do in this life, because you can do anything you want to do in this life. And not only that, no, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and it takes time. As long as you put in the work, it will happen. Speaking into existence, put in the work, it's gonna happen. But you have to know it to be true. For anybody else to know your vision, and for anybody else to understand your vision, you have to understand your vision more than anybody else will. Because if you know what you truly want to do in this life, and you believe it to be so, it will happen. So just continue to keep God first, continue to keep your faith first. And I would also say, don't ever look for plan B and C. Go with plan A. Because if plan A is truly what you want to do, forget B and C. Because once you don't think plan A, well, once you look at plan B and C, you don't believe in plan A. So go with plan A always. Whatever you want to do in this life, go with that, and you guys will be successful. It's going to be some ups and downs, but continue to ride the wave and continue to believe in your vision for yourself, because nobody can take that away from you but you, and it starts with you at the end of the day. So that's the biggest advice I could give these kids, and just believe in yourself, because it starts with you.
All right. And Asha, any last advice for these young folks? Advice, or some of your wisdom You gave some earlier, but.
I mean, I think that there's always bumps in the road. One thing I always say is you never know somebody's story and what they've overcome to get where they are. And my thing is never use whatever your hardships are as an excuse not to be great. Like, I grew up with a single mom. I had very difficult challenges. But, if I did what some other people would have done, I find a lot of things are excuses. And it doesn't mean that stuff isn't hard. It doesn't mean that sometimes you won't get kicked down. But when you get kicked down, don't use that as an excuse to stay down. I get kicked down and I'm like, okay, what's next? In court all the time, I'll get yelled at by judges. I'm like, next, because it is what it is. That's life. You're not always going to make everybody happy. And sometimes you won't even be happy with yourself. You won't be happy with your circumstances at time, but that's what it is. That's what God's created. And I know that, like, for me personally, everything that I thought was a hardship, I've looked back and it was literally just a lesson from God. And I listened to it. And even though it was difficult, it literally led me to an even better path. So, stuff will look difficult, when you're young, everything's just a mess. But honestly, like, you run with the punches. And I find that to be the best part of life is, like, the difficulties that I encountered. They really shaped me to be who I am, and they're always shaping me. And, it's like, it is what it is. Embrace those flaws and kind of just make them part of you, make them part of your story.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all very much. I'm going to
I
go to
agree.
Ron Roberts in a minute. I think last time, I think it was Rashad. I don't know. Anything you all want to ask these students? Maybe not.
Don't be shy.
That's what you said last time, and they weren't.
I know they weren't. I was ready for them.
Well, we want to thank you all for coming. I've already thanked Asia. We'll do things like this from time to time, students. But you guys, thank you for coming. I have Brother Roberts here. You can welcome to hang around for him. Ronald Roberts, are you there? He's the
Here I'm
man.
Deacon Wilson.
I got some things to say about him. Hold on. I don't do bios. I don't do bios. He's the man, the myth, the legend. I got some people in here I didn't know knew you, and they know you. I think Lori Blake's around somewhere.
Is Lori on?
She might be. Lauren's
Wow.
around somewhere. I thought I saw him on here, but I just want to. That's why it's a webinar. I'll let them say something in a minute. But Ronald is quite a guy. He has a lot of knowledge of what's going on with the industry, with this COVID thing, but also with corporations in general. And I mentioned to him a lot of these. Well, bless God, a lot of of us nonprofits haven't made it through this. But thank God I'm here. That's a story in of itself. So Ronald, I want to thank you for coming. I don't like long bios. You probably don't either. But this guy knows a lot about industry. And he has a guide that we put immediately on our website. It was funny seeing Asia here, probably, right? So Asia puts his stuff up. She loves your stuff, man. And I do too. And I'll let you go as you're led here for a few minutes. And I'm going to do an interview with you later as well to go into some detailed issues about our society and find your feeling about that. Whose thing is open here? Let's see. All right. All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and say some words and let me know what capabilities you need here. I can make you a co-host if you need to be.
Yeah, that would be great, Deacon Wilson.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna share a couple of things. But first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to support the work you do, and I commend you for this fantastic work that you do for the high schoolers and college students at West Angeles, and I'm sure other young people that you touch as well. And it's much, much needed. And so trusting that the folks that are in your program are really appreciating it and just seeing the benefits from all the resources that you provide as well. So I'm going to talk to the group. I'm going to go over my guide as Deacon Wilson indicated. But before that, I wanted to spend a few minutes just talking about knowing and showing your value. I think it's just foundational in terms of search for an internship or a job or just opportunities in general, and just knowing the value you have to offer, and then just being able to effectively share it. So I'm going to go ahead and share a quick presentation.
Okay.
All right. Can everyone see the screen okay?
Yeah, actually, yes, I can see it.
Okay,
Sure they can.
perfect. All right, let me just see if I can blow it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Give me just one moment here. I wanted to do one other thing. Okay, I think we're good.
Oh, you're good.
All right.
Oh, I had mine on mute. He probably didn't have his phone on mute.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to go over these slides, and I'm going to go through them fairly quickly because I'm going to save ample time to go through my guide and then also take any questions that you may have. And so knowing and showing your value. So just quick background of who I am. As Deacon Wilson mentioned, I definitely have experience in corporate. I'm a corporate recruiter. I've been doing this for probably the last 10 years or so. I've worked in recruiting space, diversity, inclusion, and other areas of human resources. But before that, I spent a good chunk of my career working as a college career advisor at the University of Southern California. Had some great experiences there. And so currently, outside of my day job, I do operate as what I call career college planning partner. So on the side, I do things like this where I can provide information to really help college students and high school students prepare for college and career and to have success throughout. So I'm a high school graduate. I graduated from Sherman Oaks CES, or Center for Enriched Studies, a number of years ago. And I also graduated from Cal State Los Angeles as a political science major. Some of you may be interested. I did make a stop through Biola University for about a year and a half. Unfortunately, it wasn't in the plans for me to finish there, but the Lord worked it out. I think I was ended where I needed to be. But Biola was a great experience for me. And I'm a big fan of a number of different things. I have lots of different interests, like I'm sure most of you do.
Wait a minute, are you a Philly football fan?
I am, and I'm
You're
a
an
very
Eagle fan?
depressed. Yes, I'm a very depressed Eagle fan, right?
I'm a Redskin fan, so watch it.
Oh, okay. Well, Deacon Wilson, believe it or not, and I'm gonna tell you this how bad my so I can't stand the Cowboys, and
Yeah.
folks. So I'm telling you how bad my hatred for the Cowboys is. I'm actually gonna probably rooting for the Redskins to actually beat the Eagles, so the Cowboys don't have a chance in the division.
All right.
So anyhow, okay, good to know that you're a Redskin fan or a Washington football fan.
Oh, that's right.
You're appropriate. All right, so big fan of a number of different things, and particularly my wife. She's been super supportive of all that I've been doing, and she's been through a lot of highs, but also some lows with me. So she's been just a fantastic blessing from the Lord. All right, so moving on. So I just want to share just a quick high school memory. I think some of you are in high school. So just real quick, I just to give a little backdrop to the story, in junior high school, it was not a great experience for me. I got teased a lot and just still have some scars today from my junior high school experience. High school was better. Folks around me got a little more mature. I got more mature and handling things. So anyhow, so one day during lunch period, I was running through the lunch area and it was outside and it was full of students. And in the process of running, the cuff of my pants got caught on the sprinkler head. And next thing you know, I fell face first in the dirt. And so based on my junior high school experience, I knew that the minute that I looked up, I would have a lot of folks laughing at me. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to look up. I'm just going to get up, dust myself off, and just keep going. And that's what I did. So years later, I look back on that incident and I actually saw it as a life lesson. And there are going to be people who are going to be waiting for you to fall, people who want to make fun of you, who may want to laugh at you and so forth. And the key thing is when you inevitably fall, because we're all going to make mistakes and we all do make mistakes, when you inevitably fall, it's to don't look at anyone, don't look at the haters, don't worry about what they're going to say. Get up, dust yourself off, and just keep moving and doing what you got to do, because life is too short to be caught up with what people are thinking about you and so forth. So just a quick memory and a life lesson. But high school was a great experience. All right, so let's talk a little bit about knowing and showing your value for just a few minutes. And so just some quick definitions of value. And so relative worth, merit, or importance, equivalent worth or return of money, material, services, et cetera, the worth of something in terms of the amount of other things for which it can be exchanged in terms of some medium of exchange. So you all, I'm sure, obviously understand value. And let's put some definitions up here just to reinforce what you are thinking about in terms of value. All right, so general principle, one's perceived value is key to the quality and quantity of relationships and other opportunities available to him or her. And so you found in your life to this point, and you can continue to find that there are going to be opportunities that may be presented to you, and certainly relationships. And my belief is that the quality and quantity of those relationships and the opportunities are going to be contingent, are going to be based on the level of value that you have to offer others. And we'll talk more about that. So some quick examples, individuals attached to those who are thought to add value. And so you see people who are very well known, celebrities, entertainers, and just politicians, and you have folks who hang on to them because they're hanging on to around those folks because they are thought to add value. And so as a general rule, we tend to attach ourselves to people that we think are going to add value to us. Colleges admit applicants who thought to add value. So when you are applying to a college, they are admitting you based on some sort of value that they expect you to offer. So they're gonna look at your test scores, they're gonna look at your college application and other things. And based on the value that you see in you from those documents, the scores and so forth, they'll make some decisions about whether or not to admit you. And employers hire candidates who are thought to add value. So offering value is an essential ingredient for beneficial relationships and opportunities. All right, so in addition, just want to make sure everyone here knows you have value. So I know Deacon Wilson has a wonderful program, and I'm sure he's reiterated the value you have to offer. But I just want to just reinforce anything he's already said or anything anyone else has said in your life, that you have value. Number one, because God says so. And there are a couple of scriptures here that you, I'm sure, know very well. And then I also think so too. And I believe that God has blessed everyone with some sort of value. And that
Brother Ronald,
yes.
that first scripture is actually what I mentioned in our last session.
Okay, all right. So the Lord connect those dots.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for sharing that, Deacon Wilson. Mm-hmm. And so, so God believes you have value, and I agree too. And so, I just want to say that no matter what anyone has said about you in the past, or may continue to say to you, but today you have value. And I'm saying this because at this point you probably feel, well, yes, of course I know I have value, but there are some folks who have gone through life. They've had some tough experiences, and even though they've gotten older, they've matured, they still carry those scars. And sometimes we have, because of those experiences, sometimes we doubt our value or the level of value we have to offer. So I just want to reinforce that your value, and don't let anyone diminish your value. All right, so I want you to start thinking, if you haven't done so, think of the kind of value that you have to offer others. So that's something that you want to spend some time thinking about. So let me give you some help here. So just some examples of how you can offer value to others. So number one, your education. And so whether you're in high school or college, you're learning something. Now, as an employer, and I tell college students this all the time, as an employer, if I bring you on, I'm not expecting you to know everything. Okay, we're not expecting you to know everything. We're going to teach you some things, we're going to train you up, but we are valuing your education because we know that you're learning something, and you're learning how to learn, okay, which is an important skill for the workplace. Number two, your abilities and skills. So what you're good at doing, whether it comes natural to you or you've had some kind of training. Number three, your knowledge. So some of you know things that people twice your age don't know. They're just some things that you happen to know that others don't know, and that's a source of value. Number four, your personality. So whether you're conscientious, you're ambitious, you're high achieving, you're sensitive, you have integrity, your personality can provide tremendous value to others. And number five, your experiences. So much like your knowledge, some of you have experienced things that other people have not experienced. And those experiences may have been positive, they may have been challenging. But those experiences have worked together to help you become the person that you are today, and that adds value. And then finally, your value system. So what you hold important, what you hold dear. So your family, your friends, faith, it could be making money, it could be success, giving back to the community, whatever, those are your values. And so if your value system lines up with a potential employer, then that will also add value. So it's just some examples just to help you to get started in terms of thinking about the kind of value you can offer other people. All right, so just examples of folks that you can add value to. Let me touch on some of these. So family members, community, certainly your church, your peers, your high school, your college, and then employers too. So these are all individuals and entities that you can add value to. All right, so I'm going to also encourage you, and just building on what we said before, so be thinking about your value. You got some examples, it could be your education, your knowledge, experiences, skills, and traits, and so forth. But I'm also going to encourage you to take it to another level and start to think of your value like a brand. And so you recognize these brands on the screen, you know, whether it be Starbucks or Google or Nike or Apple. And each of these products, each of these brands offers value. And so take the phone, for example. So many of us are just glued to our phones. Okay, our phones are our hip. The phones are just constantly with us, and we can't imagine what our life would be like without a phone. If you lose your phone, people just get lost. Okay, and so just imagine that kind of value that your phone offers you, or something else that you possess. And so you want to think of yourself in terms of that. Do you offer that kind of value to others? Okay, so each of these brands offers value. They offer value that's so significant that it attracts and keeps consumers. Okay, so Starbucks that's a good example. Every time I pass a Starbucks, just about, I see long lines of people there. Okay, and so and those people are there every day. Okay, they made a commitment that I'm gonna go to Starbucks every day. I'm gonna sit or stand in long lines, and I'm gonna pay more money to get coffee here than I would elsewhere. Okay, so they've made an investment in Starbucks because Starbucks offers some value, and it's not a one-time thing or a two-time thing. They're coming consistently. They're committed, and so Starbucks is offering the value to attract them first of all, and to keep the consumers. And then each brand offers value that makes it indispensable. So much like your phone, some people just couldn't see themselves going without this daily dose of Starbucks. So see yourself offering significant value, and value that makes you indispensable. All right, so just some more things to think about. All right, another thing to think about, and I think Deacon Wilson's gonna probably appreciate this from what I know about him too, but is to make a mental shift, okay, from victim to value contributor. So oftentimes when we're looking for internships, looking for jobs, we tend to play the role of the victim. Oh, you know what, the job market's hard, there aren't any opportunities out there, or, you know, I'm being discriminated against and so forth. So, and sometimes, you know, it's legitimate, you know, so I'm not downplaying it. Sometimes the barriers, the challenges are very legitimate too. But you don't want to stay stuck in that mold where you feel like you're a victim of the system, you feel like you're a victim of circumstances. And so there are going to be challenges, there are going to be barriers that you're going to have to work through. But you want to make that shift that, you know what, I'm no longer going to be a victim to the circumstances. I'm no longer going to be a victim to this market that's been impacted by COVID-19, but I'm going to look to become a value contributor, a problem solver. And if you can make that mental shift that, okay, now I'm gonna focus on how I can add value to people, how I can add value to my friends, how I can add value to employers or industry professionals or others, that's going to create those opportunities that you're looking for. If you see yourself as a problem solver, that's going to help you to be in a better position to find an internship or a job and to be successful. So value, the value you can offer can be an equalizer. And you guys, you heard some stories about folks who come from humble beginnings, but they found a talent. They found a talent, maybe it was in athletics, maybe it was singing, maybe it was negotiating or something. And that value helped to equalize them. It helped to put them in a better position as well. So your value can be an equalizer. So to make that mental shift from victim to value contributor. All right, so just real quick, just some opportunities to show value, and you all are familiar with this, much of this, but it starts with your resume, but you can show value obviously through the interview process, your involvement in student clubs, organizations, social media, obviously you can add a lot of value there. You can show value through volunteering. So there are lots of ways for you to get out there and to show your value. All right, so spend just a couple of minutes on this slide. Just want to focus more on the employer side. So you can show value to a lot of different people, but let's talk about employers real quick. So employers hire for problem solvers, and they hire folks who can add value. So consider, you know, the value you can offer, but also start thinking, okay, now that I want to get out there and show my value, what are employers looking for? So here's some qualities that employers typically value. And so much of this, some of this you definitely are knowing to, but leadership, innovation, creativity, showing initiative, which is a big one, problem solving, as I touched on, communication skills, whether skills are written or verbal. And there's this annual survey that's put out by the organization. And each year, communication lands in the top 3 of qualities that employers are most looking for in candidates. But you know, being friendly, outgoing, strong interpersonal skills, technical skills. So employers looking for all kinds of things. And so you want to, number one, be in tune with the value that you can offer. So once again, think about your education, think about what you know, think about what you've experienced, think about your skills and abilities. So get that down. but also as you're looking for internships and jobs, be in touch with what your dream employer is looking for. All right, so I'm gonna spend a lot of time on this, but I just want to put this out here at the Planet Seed. So one way that you can show value, communicate your value to employers or professionals at a networking event or career fair is to develop a 30-second commercial or elevator speech. And so it's called that because you want to be able to develop a pitch, an introduction that you can share within the span of an elevator ride or a commercial, 30-second commercial. And so your career center, and we'll talk about career centers in just a moment, your career center can help you with this. Deacon Wilson's program may be able to help you put this together, professors. So there are different resources out there that can help you to put together a pitch, but you want to be prepared to introduce yourself, share what you're learning, what you've accomplished, what you're looking to do, and also, if possible, the value that you could possibly offer to an employer. And so, but there are folks out there who can definitely help you with this, but just want to put this out there to plant a seed. All right, so we're getting towards the end of this, but I want to spend a moment on this slide too, because I think this is pretty critical. And I was listening to, I think the panelists and Deacon Wilson, and when the time came to ask questions, they were hoping that you would ask questions, and there were crickets. There weren't any questions to my knowledge, and maybe I'm wrong, but it never ceases to amaze me how the most vocal, opinionated, most intelligent people can get together in a meeting. And then when the meeting leader is asking for opinions or questions, it's dead silence. And very few people want to take the risk of looking stupid. They don't want to say the wrong things. They don't want to look foolish. And so they are very reluctant to ask questions or to share their ideas. And unfortunately, a lot of value gets lost. And then you have the same people in the meeting who speak up at every meeting, taking the floor and sharing the same things. And no wonder many organizations don't get further than they are, because they're counting on opinions and ideas from the same group of people, when there are a lot of people out there who would be able to contribute wonderful ideas if they would only speak up. So I just want to encourage you all that when you're in sessions like this, when you're in your classes, is to start to take that risk to be vocal and visible, because those people are the ones that get the opportunities. You've heard the expression, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And so the people that are noticed, people that speak up, that make their ideas heard, that ask questions, those are the ones that leaders take note of too. And believe me, it's true. And so you want to start to be prepared to do that. So I'm going to say this. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I'm kind of shy. I'm not really outgoing. That's okay. I'm not asking you or suggesting for you to be vocal or visible in a way that maybe someone who has a different personality is. Okay, so don't worry about doing it the way somebody else would do it, but find your own way and ask the Lord for help. Ask the Lord to help you to figure out how you can become more visible, more vocal, because you're going to need to do that to get out there. And it's going to be challenging initially, but if you start to get out there and obviously asking the Lord for his help, he's going to help you through it, and you can get better with practice too. So find your own way to be able to do that. All right, so I'm going to end, well, actually almost near the end. One of my favorite quotations, and this is by Walt Disney: do what you do so well that they will want to see it again and bring their friends. Do what you do so well that they will want to see it again and bring their friends. And I love this quotation because it's a challenge. It's a challenge about adding value. And so whatever you're choosing to do, whatever career you're getting into, whatever project you're working on, you want to be able to do it at such a level that people will want to see it again, over and over again. So imagine your favorite movie, your favorite concert, a song that you really love, the television show that you really love, and how you just can't get enough of it. You binge watch it. Every Tuesday or every Thursday at a certain time, you're tuning into that television show, or you're seeing a certain movie multiple times, or you go to concert multiple times, because the concert, the television show, the movie, wherever it was, brought you so much value that you couldn't get enough of it. So that's just a start. But on top of it, you want your value to be at such a level that now you want people to talk about you. All right. So when you saw that concert or that television show or that movie, you couldn't wait to tell your friends and maybe family members about it. So you loved it. You wanted to get more and more of it, but you also wanted to tell people about it as well. And so that's the kind of value that you want to be able to provide, where people can't get enough of it. And on top of that, waiting to tell other people about you. So I'm going to give a quick example. So as a recruiter, I go to college campuses and I talk to a lot of students. And inevitably, I'm going to come across some students who are going to just be outstanding. And those are students that I want to continue to have conversations with. And once the conversation ends at the career fair, I want to be able to get in touch with them. So I want to call them again. I want to email them so I can stay in touch with them. But on top of that, I can't wait to get back to my office and to tell my boss and my coworkers about what a fantastic candidate that I met as well. So I just wanted to just drive that point home, that that's the kind of value that we all want to shoot for. And final note, and then we'll move on to the career guide, is in terms of knowing and showing your value, involve the Lord in the process too. And so the things I shared before are all tried and true principles, but everything comes from the Lord, and ultimately it's the Lord that's going to give you your success too. So just ask you, as you ask him in anything, to really bring him into the equation. Just say, Lord, I really want to be able to understand the kind of value I have to offer. You made me for a reason, and can you just help me just to figure out, more of my purpose, the kind of value I can offer others, and how I can communicate it. And I do believe if you sincerely and diligently ask the Lord, he's going to answer that prayer. Okay. And so once you say that prayer and you're saying it over and over again, involving the Lord in the process, then you can confidently anticipate the Lord is going to guide you. He's going to enable you. He promised in his word as well. And so, so just my parting thought in terms of knowing and showing your value. So I hope that you got something out of this. And once again, it's foundational. So whether you're looking for an internship or a job or scholarships or just other opportunities, understanding the value you have to offer and being able to effectively share it in a number of different ways is going to be pretty key.
I just got the idea that I'm going to do something with that, training them on the elevator speech.
Okay.
I haven't done that in about 10 years.
Okay.
Get back to that. I'm going to do that too. So I may be asking about that.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, I'll be glad to. All right, so let me just shift over real quick. And Deacon, how much more time do I have? Because I don't want to go past.
About 10, 15, 10 or so.
Okay, that won't take me too long. I'm just going to go ahead and just.
Yeah,
just to. So let me just stop share here for a moment and go to my next document. And give me just one moment here.
No problem. And to remind you all, on our website under careers, he's always got a page there of recent stuff we have up. There may even be a video there this time, I'm sure. But there's also the guide that I think he's going to say a couple words about here. It's on my website. You can get a copy of it. You can see it on there and look at it online. And our web address, I'll ask Christina to throw that in the chat window. Our web address, our website, that would be great if you guys could do that a couple times or even once.
Okay, Deacon Wilson, I'm still here. I just ran into a little bit of an issue, but we're almost there.
All right, no problem. Yeah, we will be doing an elevator speech, because I want you guys to be able to quickly state who you are and what your purpose is. And it may change, while you're in college. Some of you in first year, and I know you're not on campus, can't yet connect. Oh, some of you have connected already with your career services. So it is very relevant to start thinking that way. There's our web address. You can always go there and just move the cursor on the top. You'll find out about career through one of the drop downs. Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to shut it down and okay, so here we go. Let me just share screen now. All right, terrific. Let me just can everyone see that okay? All right, great. All right, so I'm going to take just a few minutes to go through the guide. It's pretty straightforward, but I wanted just to share some of the highlights and just really drive home a couple key points. And so this is a guide that I created primarily for college students, but definitely is beneficial for high school students, particularly those who are close to going to college. And I found that in my experience as a college career advisor that not enough students were taking advantage of the Career Center. And the Career Center can offer you so much value. It can benefit you in so many different ways. And it's really is there to make your life easier as you start to identify the careers that may be a fit for you and as you prepare for those careers. So let's go ahead and go through the guide here. All right, so I'm not gonna worry about the table of contents. Let me just go through here. All right, so I start off by introducing the Career Center and just some of the types of resources the Career Center has to offer you. So my strong encouragement for those of you who are in college and who have not gone to your Career Center yet, and those of you in high school, is to visit your Career Center sometime in your first year. It doesn't have to be your first quarter, your first semester. Get settled, get involved, get yourself comfortable. But at some point, go to visit the Career Center. You don't have to do a whole lot, but just go there, get to know the folks, find out how they can benefit you. The earlier that you can get familiar with the Career Center and take advantage of their resources, the much better you will be later in your college career. Just believe me. I've seen a number of students who come to me, some come to me in their freshman and sophomore year. They're taking advantage of what we had to offer. They're in great shape. Then I've had students who came in their senior year, or maybe even after they graduated, we were able to help them to a certain degree, but not nearly as much. And so your Career Center can help you in a lot of different ways. So whether it's trying to determine, what career option may be a great fit for you based on your personality, based on your skill set, to creating a resume, to preparing for interviews, to networking with employers, to finding internships and jobs, to negotiating offers. If you do everything right and you get multiple offers, they can also help you negotiating offer that's best for you. And so just, and one thing too, one important thing I almost forgot to say, the beauty of this guide is these aren't just my thoughts. The information in this guide comes from college career professionals and also employers. And so the information in this guide, you're getting it from the horse's mouth, okay? These are the people that are preparing you for careers. These are the people that are hiring you for internships and jobs, okay? I'm gonna make a note about Career Center guides, and so that's another great resource too, for hopefully your Career Center will have a guide that will include sample resumes, information on interviewing, networking, and so forth. All right, maximizing Career Center. Okay, I think I touched on that enough. Yeah, let me just move on. Okay, just a quick blurb on how to work with a career counselor. And one thing I'm gonna say to you all too is that every so often I would hear from a student that, oh, my Career Center really didn't do X, Y, and Z, or didn't offer this and so forth. And student didn't have the best experience with the Career Center. And fortunately, it's rare, but if you've gone to your Career Center and you have not had the best experience with a particular career counselor, don't let that stop you from going back. I encourage you find another career counselor, but figure it out. But your Career Center is there to work for you too. So don't let one bad experience, if you haven't had experience, stop you. Okay, because you need your Career Center. Okay, so networking tips from various college career centers. So I put those there. And also at the very bottom, career assessments. And so these are assessments or quote unquote tests that can help you determine what careers may be a great fit for you based on your personality, your skill set, your value system, and so forth. All right, so let's move on. All right, connecting with employers. On the very right here, you see a list of the types of employers that typically come to college campuses, and there's usually lots of them. So some advice on how to start connecting with employers. Company information sessions. So many employers will come to campus for about 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and talk about what their company is and the opportunities at the company. And oftentimes, once we get back together on campus, they often will provide free food. So that's another benefit as well. All right, so more about connecting with employers. Another great way to connect with employers are through student organizations. And so many employers will come to different clubs to find candidates. So whether it's a finance club or the marketing club or entertainment club, there are employers that will come to those clubs and they'll make presentations because they want to find candidates that are interested in their particular area of business. All right, so more about employers. I also put top 15 attributes employers look for on student resumes, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, let me move on. Oh, let me just say something here. I also put some bits of inspiration here. So on the bottom real quick, Blizzard Entertainment was founded in 1991 by 3 new college students looking to build a future doing something they were extremely passionate about. So Blizzard's huge. Blizzard Entertainment's huge, but it started by 3 recent college grads. So I just want to put out there just to help inspire college students. All right, more listing of employers, and these employers are listed by industry. So once again, typical employers that will come to campus. Also, some great websites that rank employers. And so you got Forbes, you got Vault, and Vault's a great resource. So I'm encouraging you, I don't have time to go through all this, but check these sites out because they will list the top employers and they'll rank them and rate them. All right, so some tips on how to impress employers. On the bottom, I'll put some information on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, hopefully you'll get on LinkedIn. It's a fantastic resource to network with employers and to really sell yourself as a candidate. And so some great resources there. All right, some more on impressing employers. And then I listed some employer websites where they actually provide career and recruiting tips too. And so these employers themselves are putting themselves out there and say, hey, here's some tips to help you to be better prepared for us. So just some examples there. Some advice on crafting resumes when it comes to employers or career centers, in case you got that. Advice on preparing for interviews. And once again, from the employer perspective, also from the career center perspective. Okay, the navigating recruiting process. And if you don't know how they handle the recruiting process, it can be very confusing, very complex. So some good tips on how to prepare to recruit for internships and full-time jobs. All right, some advice on networking with employers. And then informational interviews. And I don't have time to say much about this, but I highly encourage these. These are career discovery conversations. And so if you're interested in being a neurosurgeon or being a fashion designer, it's a great idea to talk to people who are doing what you want to do. If you're interested in working for Disney or you're interested in working for Bank of America, it's a great idea to talk to people who are working where you want to work. Okay, so informational interviews, and Deacon Wilson or some others, I'm sure can help you to get started on how they get do informational interviews. Okay, some additional advice on recruiting, some specific advice for college freshmen and sophomores, some suggestions, so look for that. Okay, then information on how to secure an internship, the benefits of an internship, and once you get one, hopefully how to maximize it. And then I just walked through some internship snapshots. So I just took snapshots of different companies that offer internships, put their website there, and then just quick blurb. And so you can go through and just see just some examples of some companies that have wonderful internship programs. So yes, everyone from Microsoft to Turner Construction to Northrop Grumman. And then you have some employers who are very, very focused on finding African-American, Latino, and women candidates. And so they put a lot of emphasis on creating programs for more diverse candidates too. And so a list of some programs that I think are very good. Inroads is one of my favorite. Okay. And then that's it. And I just wrap things up with a quiz. But that is essentially the guide. And so I put a lot in there. And once again, not just my 2 cents, but it comes from the horse's mouth from employers and college career centers.
Well, thank you for that. I do need to say that a lot of your schools that you're virtually online. I had an interesting seminar with CSU. Career service people were there saying, hey, come visit us virtually. Give us a call. We'd like to sit down with you and talk to you about your career. They're very bored right now. So you could probably get a nice Zoom call with them, talk about your career, talk about what you want to, let them get a file on you. And they're doing like digital company visits even for internships next semester. They do it usually. So please don't assume that career services is down right now. They're very concerned and very active at CSU, UC, and private schools too. I've connected with them. So keep that all in mind. Remember, the career guide is on our website as well. If any of you have any questions, feel free to do those now. And the Blakes are here, by the way. I think what I'm gonna do, which would be really cool, is they're actually there. They're here somewhere. They probably know they can't speak unless I let them. So I'm gonna get in there. Let me see. Yeah, we did a webinar. Let me see if I can find them here.
And while you find them, Deacon Wilson, I have to say this, and this is not just because she's on, but Lori Blake is absolutely my favorite boss of all time.
Well, she has some nice things to say about you too.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and it's the gospel truth.
Oh, brother, I don't see her here right now, but you know how it is on this view. Let's see. All right, so we want to thank you for coming, Brother Roberts. You're a blessing, and I found her. Let me see if I can get Lori. I actually found you. Oh, Sister Lori.
Yes, hi, thank you. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ron, for your kind remarks. So helpful, so helpful. And I run a career at USC. We are busy, and we are virtual appointments with students and planning online events, workshops. So the career centers are all working. They're busy working with students virtually at this time.
Right. They've been getting a hold of me, asking me, tell your students, holler at them, let them come on in. UCs, all of them, I've heard from them. So definitely don't assume, get a hold and use these techniques that Brother Roberts discussed, even in the virtual world. And you heard Sister Lori say at USC, they've got like companies coming in and doing virtual stuff. So definitely
Yes, yeah,
encourage.
we're doing on-campus recruiting. Employers are coming in, they're doing information sessions, and they're not just doing it at USC, they're doing it at all the campuses. So
Right.
really tapping into those information sessions on campus, applying for jobs through your dedicated job board at your universities is really important. Tapping into the alumni network. I talked about the LinkedIn profile. All of the students on this call should have an LinkedIn profile set up.
Yeah, that's a good homework assignment. I heard that. And
Yes.
I'm gonna do a session with elevator speeches probably in about 2 weeks. So watch that in your email, okay?
Okay.
All right. Sister Lori, I want to talk to you offline about, maybe I should draft her, huh, Ron?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I should
She's a
draft
great
her.
resource.
Yeah. I hate when I have to talk about people right in front of them, but you know. Thank you very much. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Most unusual session. I want to thank Brother Roberts for being here, and thank him for coming in and sharing his expertise. And I'm going to do some kind of interview. There's some things I want to ask him about. He's a Renaissance guy, so I want to actually ask him about related career things and related things to the economy and kind of see what he's thinking. I'll probably learn more than you all will, but we're going to do like an interview online, and we'll put it out there on my YouTube channel and make it available for students. If he lets me do that, he's such an important guy. Maybe he will let me. I think he'll let me do it. Well, thank you all very much. God bless you all. Brother Ron, we'll be in touch with you tomorrow on that little thing we talked about. And thank you very much. Thank you all for coming to this most unusual session. I hope it helped. Give me a feedback like you usually do. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you very much for coming, Christy.